Gregory College Preparatory School and the first commencement of the Gregory School. 2 reasons to celebrate and a wonderful mark in history for our graduating class. My name is Julie Sherrill. I serve as head of school, and it's a pleasure to help facilitate tonight's ceremony. The first point that I'd like to make is to make sure that all of you are aware that our speakers for this evening, our student speakers, were elected by the members of the graduating class. It is a pleasure to introduce to you Andrew Tinley, our first student speaker.
Good evening, everyone. My fellow Gregory and I would like to welcome you tonight to the graduation of the class of 2015. Thank you all for making it here tonight. I know for me, there are a couple people that I wish were here to watch me speak and watch me walk the stage. So this speech, I guess, is written for those people who are here in spirit tonight. So moving on, I wanted to personally thank all the moms and dads, brothers and sisters, grandmas and grandpas, aunts, uncles, tios, tias, abuelos, abuelas, nanas, nanas, ninas, mimas, mimas, grandmas, dogs, cats, stuffed animals, all of you guys. Seriously, none of this would have been possible, and none of us would be here right now if it wasn't for you guys. So now, in the spirit of appreciation, I'd like everyone to look to their left and their right and hug the people next to you, tell them you love them. Go ahead. Go ahead. As one of my favorite bands, Imagine Dragons says, if you love somebody, better tell them why they're here, so they just may run away from you. Sounds about better when it's coming, I promise. So with that said, the same goes for the faculty. We cannot take all the credit for making it this far. Whether it's Mr. Mata, tirelessly scribbling all of my homework and tests with the right pen every night, wasting all his free time, or Mr. Mossman and Mrs. Young writing illegible scribbles and comments in our essays and papers, or the calming and relaxing massages given by Dr. So truly though, a thank you is truly not enough to be able to pay you all for making us proud and strong 41 graduating seniors, the men and women we are today. So let's give them a round of applause. So as some of you know, I'm kind of known for being a storyteller and a few ways, so I thought it'd be fitting to try and come up with a good one to say tonight. So many to choose from, honestly, for the last 7 years, so here goes. A little background on me. I'm a homeschooled military brat that moved here from Washington State. I'm not really too selling, boo. But I remember technically in my 6th grade year, when I moved here, I came to the 2009-2010 graduation. And I listened to wonderful students who spoke that year. I recall sitting all the way in the back of the bleachers and thinking to myself, the guy who was speaking that year, wow, that guy is so tall. I want to be just like him when I'm student. Right? That's the dream. When you're 10 years old, looking like all the big kids. Well, as my classmates can tell you, growing is not a strong point. For like 5, 6, for 3 years, with my heels on. So I didn't meet that goal, but more importantly though, I was thinking about the opportunity, having the opportunity to speak at my graduation all these years later in 2015. And what an honor and a privilege it would be to speak on behalf of my class as we get together to walk the stage one last time. At least I managed to grow to that accomplishment. But anyways, I wanted to formally thank all my classmates and teachers for voting and choosing me to not only have this one kind of amazing experience, but make one of my high school dreams come true. So you guys are also wonderful. You guys are really MVPs. So next, I wanted to bring attention to some statistics of our grade. I like numbers and kind of math nerds, so bear with me. Of the 41 students that are graduating here today, 15 of us have been here since 6th grade and stayed all 7 years. With that in mind, we gained 2 new in 7th grade and 3 new in 8th that are still here with us today. Now, if my math is correct, I very much could be wrong, as Mr. Mata, That means 21, over 50%, have come over the last 4 years. 4 have left and returned after some period of time. Over half of the young women and men you see sitting in front of me today, I was known for 4 years, or in some cases a couple of months. But the bonds, the relationships, and the memories that we made are greater, if not equal, to the others. It doesn't mean I like new kids more, but I think it's a truly amazing thing how we can grow and experience life together in such a short amount of time, and it'll feel like a lifetime. Our grade will be attending 20 different colleges in the fall. We'll be traveling around to several different countries in the world. I cannot wait to hear about everyone's next chapters in life. You guys will for sure be missed, but good times are ahead. Coming to a close, I tried to keep it nice and sweet, so I didn't take up too much of the evening. Hopefully no one cried when we have to stay after once everyone's at home with their families. Once again, thank you all for coming, and have a wonderful, safe summer. To my peers, let's finish what we started. Bonne chance, bonne suerte, Halloween, good luck, and God bless.
Come
And many thanks to our choir under the direction of Dr. Chris Prezzolone with soloist Maya and Zila. To introduce Allison Williams, and immediately following Allison, our two parent representatives, Dr. Andrea Mainman and Laura Swenson, will present the senior gift.
In a gentle way, you can shake the world. Gandhi said that. He may have been one of the most influential men in history, and yet what he found important was not accomplishing the impossible, but working to change the world around him on a smaller scale. What matters more are the little daily efforts towards goodness. Greatness isn't something reserved for the few names of people who have changed the world. You don't have to be in a position of great authority to make a difference. In the end, it is our individual attitudes and actions that define us. No one person is better than another or worth more. Meet everyone with kindness, and you will shake the world just as Gandhi did. Find what gives you your strength and work from it. Greatness is not measured in the value of your merits, but rather by the morals you hold and the way that you allow those to manifest themselves in your life. Greatness is remembering goodness with every step forward, and it is you living your life to the fullest, and you get to decide what that means. So as you move on in the world, know that you carry within you the freedom to be great. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, happiness is not a goal, but rather a byproduct. As we live our lives aimed at goodness and work towards a better future, happiness will find us. So let your heart, your desires, and your beliefs forge your path into the future, and happiness will find you. Use them to find what gives you strength. Always do your best and have no regrets when you look into the past. As long as you work to learn and grow, forgiveness is deserved for any mistake. Each and every one of us has worked hard to be here and has done amazing things throughout the last 4 years. And I think we're all pretty tired, and with good reason. It's time for us to take a break, relax, and have some fun. So congratulations to everyone. I'm so proud of all of you. It's time to get on with festivities, but if you'll allow me, I'd like to leave you with some last wisdom. Never be too small to apologize, and never be too small to forgive. Meet everyone in your life with love, tolerance, and understanding. Always be kind, and always be the change you wish to see in the world. This is the path to greatness.
Every year since 1990, the families of the senior class contribute to the Edward E. Fund Faculty Enrichment Endowment Fund. This fund was initially established with a special gift from the Edward E. Ford Foundation and is for the exclusive use for amazing faculty. It is used for professional enrichment, which has included research and development, enrichment in our classrooms, graduate level studies, travel, and exploration of new teaching methods. Over the years, the fund has grown to over $200,000, and every year between 4 and 6% is made available to our faculty through grant requests.
We, the parents of the class of 2015, are happy to make a contribution to the fund of $3,125. We cannot express in words the depth of gratitude we have for the amazing Gregory School faculty and everything they have done for our children. We leave you with a Japanese proverb that we feel sums up how we feel. I get emotional. Better than 1,000 days of diligent study is one day with a great teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea and Laura. And thank you, actually, to Andrea is one of 9 trustees who are with us this evening supporting the class of 2015. So thank you all for being here. Well, our next 2 guests require no formal introduction in Tucson or in Arizona. United States, or beyond. They've inspired Americans for the past decade with their courage, commitment, and love of country. Tonight, however, I am introducing them as the proud parents of one of our graduating seniors, Miss Claire Kelly. We are honored and profoundly grateful to have them here as our special guests and commencement speakers for the class of 2015. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Congresswoman Gabby O'Deffers and Captain Mark Kelly.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Dr. Cheryl. Thanks for your introduction, and thanks for the honor of allowing us to address the Gregory School class of 2015. Graduates, congratulations. Let me start with one piece of advice, or maybe an observation. Now, if you think all of us parents are emotional or sentimental right now at this graduation tonight, just wait until we drop you off at that freshman dorm. Yeah, I've not seen anything yet. You know, I know for all of you, the graduates here, this is a very exciting time graduating from high school. Well, that's true for everybody except maybe for my daughter Claire. Because she's sitting there, and let's face it, this is kind of a nightmare scenario, isn't it? She's up here kind of in front of the whole class. She's certainly terrified of what I could possibly say. You know, like maybe telling some embarrassing stories. And believe me, I got a lot of them. You know, I could tell that story about you at 6 years old in IHOP. Remember that one? But I am tempted. But instead, Claire, I'm just going to say that we are all very proud of you. You know, it's no secret that all of you have done a lot to get to this point. You completed your JCP, you did your senior internship, you made it through Miss Young's AP English class. You know, that was hard for some of you. Now, to be successful, you need to be a person that makes things happen. So as you move on to your life after the Gregory School, Gabby and I encourage you to be that person that makes things happen, and the kind of person who serves their community. Now I want to introduce you to just that kind of person, somebody who works incredibly hard and inspires me each and every day, and somebody who wants to honor your hard work and celebrate you and challenge you to seize a chance at service. My wife, Congresswoman Gabby O'Deffers.
And I used to be in Congress, but don't hold that against me. To Gregory School, thank you for inviting me here today. Graduates, your future shines bright. Find your purpose and go for it. Starting tomorrow, you can help change the world. The nation's counting on you to create, to lead, to innovate, but today we celebrate you. Be bold, be courageous, be your best. Go Hawks! Thank you.
Our faculty will now Many thanks again to Captain Kelly and Congresswoman Giffords. Thank you. Our faculty will now present the class of 2015 with special remarks and the awarding of diplomas.
Hi, I'm Gregory, Athletic Director. Riley Ellis Breedlove. I've been an athlete, a coach, now an athletic director. I've witnessed firsthand on countless occasions how people deal with success and setbacks on the track, the field, and the court. It has been argued that sports don't necessarily build character, but rather they reveal character. Some young athletes react to defeat with unbridled emotion, others with deep-clenched stoicism. As coaches, the athlete we feel for the most is the one who is denied, through injury, the opportunity to soar with victory or crash in defeat. The athlete who does his best and simply comes out on the wrong end of the score knows nothing but the pain and disappointment of not being able to compete and do one's best. That is the ultimate test of character. It is such a cliche, but it is also true that sometimes bad things happen to good people. Riley was an important part of the Hawk basketball team and one of the best in the state. Unfortunately, Riley suffered an injury early in the season. His broken foot was devastating to him and his teammates. It's just one more setback that he's had to deal with, and he's done so with maturity and strength that belie his age. Riley, there's a song called For Good in the musical Wicked. One of the lines says, "Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I've been changed for the good." I'll miss you. Some people twist themselves into a pretzel and try to make a sports metaphor for life. If the speaker starts off with, "Life is just like a baseball game," you're in for a long day. However, every now and then, you'll find an athlete who plays a sport or a certain position in a sport that just seems to be perfect fit. Tiana Lee Johnston, or T, as we all know her, was an outside hitter in volleyball, a position that requires a dizzying combination of patience, grace, and ferocity. An outside hitter has to start her approach off the court. That's not illegal, but it does give her a unique perspective. She has to have complete trust in her teammates and must be willing and able to wait for the proper time and not get ahead of herself. She must then plan her attack, move forward with a sense of purpose, and then execute without fear or doubt. She did that to perfection on the court, and I have no doubt that that same approach will carry on through her life and lead her to success in her chosen endeavors. Started the wrong way. When Juan Miguel Keenan came, or Miguelito as I like to talk to him, transfer here was so quiet, I thought maybe his voice would stay behind that green field. Eventually he emerged from his shell, and from time to time advisory, I wish he would climb back into that shell. He's actually a delightful guy, inquisitive and outgoing, friendly and hardworking. He excelled on the soccer team and also on the basketball court. I understand that he was fun to coach, and I know that he was definitely fun to watch. Miguel was originally from Guatemala. He's a Chapin, full of passion, love, and true understanding of loyalty and friendship. All the qualities that I appreciate and respect from a young man that I've grown to admire. He's had a very interesting life up to this point, and I sincerely believe that with whatever is going on in that head of his, the next few years are going to be far more interesting for him.
I almost missed Daniel Patrick Benson. Up until this year, I only knew him as a freakishly athletic kid who everyone said was a super nice guy who gave great hugs. Then this year, Danny decided to sign up for 3 of my courses, and I was hired as his basketball coach. Talk about Dr. Barry overload, this poor guy. What his peers said about him, that he is kind and sensitive and helpful and good, doesn't even begin to capture the full essence of this extraordinary young man. Danny is also dutiful, a student who attends to his scholarly work with dogged determination, and an athlete who verily demands to be coached harder and better every day. This might explain why he is the recipient of this year's Outstanding Male Athlete Award. He is also fearless, a student who willingly took on the constitutional law and public policy project that resulted in a 25 to 30-page paper with barely a second thought, and who unquestionably played on the inside this past season, even though he had never been coached as a post player. He accomplishes hard work with such good cheer that he makes it seem almost effortless. All of this is why sometimes it seems as though Danny is floating through life. At one point in the season, I told him he could play basketball like a ballerina. He looked at me, one eyebrow cocked, and said, "Okay, Dr. Barry, whatever you say." But I meant it. Danny is a beautiful, balanced combination of fierceness and love, of focus and freedom, of lightness and strength. I was honored to spend nearly every day with him for the past 6 months. It is one of the great gifts of my career. Hitchcock wrote in The Awakening, quote, "At a very early period, she had apprehended instinctively the dual life, that outward existence which conforms, the inward life which questions. Grace Elizabeth Herrick has been careful these past 4 years to conform, just enough to jump through the hoops required of all TGS graduates. But all the while, she lived an inward life that questioned the very meaning of our fragile existence. Indeed, of all the students I have taught over the years, Gracie has been one of the most intentional about becoming. She has thrown herself into the process of emergence with such intensity that the result is a person wise beyond her years. Gracie's quest to become has yielded in her a unique ability to care about something with a passion that borders on obsessiveness and talk about it in the most flippant of ways. She can be in intense pain with tears brimming in her eyes and still manage to smile. She takes a compliment with the same open acceptance as she takes criticism. She can even be a little edgy while still following most of the rules, and she writes fearlessly with a voice that suggests an individual awakening. She also is a fierce competitor and is the co-recipient of the Outstanding Female Athlete Award. Surprise. She didn't know. Always, Gracie is willing to admit that she hasn't figured it all out. But the fact that she even knows which questions to ask speaks volumes about the depth of this incredible young woman. Sylvia Plath wrote in the Bell Jar, quote, "When they asked me what I wanted to be, I said I didn't know." "Oh, sure you know," the photographer said. "She wants," said J.C. Whittley, "to be everything." Gracie is one of those students who began her journey at TGS believing that she didn't know who she was or what she wanted to be. But in the tiny bell jar that high school can be, Gracie finally figured out that maybe, just maybe, she can be anything and everything. Metcalf is this year's co-recipient of the Outstanding Female Athlete Award. She is also the recipient of the History and Social Sciences Award, and this is for good reason. Woodrow Wilson, the only United States president to have earned a PhD, once said, "The method of social science is the interpretation of life. Its instrument is insight, a deep understanding of subtle, unformulated conditions." This quote perfectly captures Alyssa. She works painstakingly at interpreting life, whether it is the daily social networking among peers in high school or in a familial setting, or in the dusty pages of the distant past. She is an instrument of vast insight. She is mature beyond her years and brings that maturity to bear on her academic work and her personal choices. But perhaps what makes Alyssa particularly extraordinary is her desire to understand subtlety. She reads deeply for meanings just beyond the text. She writes precisely so as to bring attention to that which may remain, as yet, unformulated. And she speaks carefully so as to be certain to punctuate the nuances of her thoughts. The result is a thing of intellectual and personal beauty. I have often called Alyssa one of my best students of all time, and while I am sad I will no longer have her in my classes to get the nuance, I think it's obvious that we'll remain friends for a very long time. When Raymond A. Raisler walks in the room, you can tell immediately the kind of day that he is having. It was executive day today. If his eyes are a little droopy, he's tired. If there's a crease in his brow, he's stressed. If his eyes are glistening, he's happy. We like those days. But you have to look fast, because as soon as he sits down at his desk, he is all business. He locks in intellectually like a pit bull on a bone. His energy fills the room like the Tucson sun at high noon. In his 4 years at TGS, Raymond has lent his love of learning and insatiable energy to the Gregorian chant, our school newspaper, the crowning achievement of which was this last issue, which was 16 pages of full color glory. In academic classes, his sense of humor, his natural brilliance, and good-natured intensity lit the room on fire. He played club soccer relentlessly and then paid forward his expertise by working with our middle school soccer teams. In fact, his single-minded dedication to his sport has led him to St. Mary's University, where he will play collegiate soccer starting next fall. When Raymond was a freshman, he had a Buzz Lightyear backpack. He wore it with pride and with absolutely no irony. I suspect that was the case because he might really be Buzz Lightyear. The soccer great Pele is credited with saying, quote, "Enthusiasm is everything. It must be taught and vibrated like a guitar string." If this is true, then Raymond has and likely will continue to have everything. Congratulations. Zuriel Williams is the reincarnation of several of my favorite historical figures. She exudes part Marilyn Monroe, a star who is beloved and yet somewhat mysterious. She is definitely Hemingway, writing prose that is at once pithy and profound, as we heard earlier. She most decidedly channels Georgia O'Keeffe, seeing the world through a lens that is all her own, and finding beauty in the most mundane of things. Of course, there's a little bit of Elizabeth Cady Stanton in Allison, rethinking the order of things and articulating perfectly the logic of justice and equality. Henry David Thoreau is also there, the wanderer in search of truth and meaning. And of course, Rachel Carson, thinking outside the box and working within it just enough to be legitimate while shining light on scientific issues worth considering. But I think the historic hero who is most obviously manifest in Allison is one of my all-time favorites, Thomas Jefferson, or as we call him in my classes, TJ. He was a great scholar in the tradition of the Renaissance. Equally at home in organic chemistry, she too is a Renaissance-like scholar, as she is just at home in women's studies. She is as comfortable in tech innovation class as she is in AP US history class, and as visionary in English as she is in biology. Allison is truly a brilliant scholar and a wonderful person. She is a spectacular combination of all things interesting, and I will miss her dearly.
Hello, I'm Lisa Bawden, Chair of the Fine Arts Department. Caitlin Capehart, once, 3.5 years ago, described herself as awesome. As a freshman, Katie tiptoed into our school in an awesome state, for she was overwhelmed with fear. She was intimidated, scared, and unsure of herself. Though through many enlightening experiences, she has discovered who she is and what she wants in life. We provided the resources, but she made the decision to explore and experiment. Through the years, Katie has researched, reacted, calculated, conjugated, acted, sang, wrote, read, laughed, and loved, always with a smile on her face. As a senior, Katie is confidently striding out of our school, full of pride, talent, and enthusiasm about her future, and returns to an awesome state, inspiring those around her with awe. Katie, it's true. You are and have always been awesome. Sophia Kelly is always up for an adventure. Moving to Tucson to start her sophomore year at our school was an adventure. Meeting new people, becoming acclimated to the desert, and challenging herself with interesting and diverse classes was an adventure. Interning at a congressional office and participating with the Americans for Responsible Solutions PAC has been an adventure. Designing and creating this year's upper school yearbook has been an adventure. Applying to and being accepted at Scripps College was an adventure. Eating the pancakes Claire made for my public speaking class, now that was an adventure for those around her. I hope, Claire, that the rest of your life brings you amazing adventures. Enjoy them, learn from them, and be sure to experience them with others. Life is more wonderful than shared.
You know, I wore those exact same shoes in my graduation a little bit longer. I think that's the last time I wore Chuck Taylors that didn't hurt my feet. Marcos Rodolfo Castillo. You ready? You ready to graduate? All right, let's do it. Cato the Elder said, speech is the gift of all, the thought of few. Marcos is a kind of which has become increasingly rare in this day and age. He's a listener. As a teacher and a coach, sometimes it seems that my pearls of wisdom gleaned over the years are cast to the winds, all but ignored by my students and players. Yet Marcos would on occasion surprise me by repeating something I may have said weeks, months, or even years earlier, indicating careful and thoughtful consideration. Jeff Klaxman, his soccer coach, characterized Marcos as an honest person, true to himself, a quiet leader respected by his peers who honored him by voting him captain his senior year. He also gave back to the school by volunteering to coach middle school soccer for the past 2 years, and as his coach and teacher, I have come to admire his quiet determination, resilience, along with his obvious passion for golf and for learning. Congratulations. Ready to begin? All right. I have had the great honor of coaching Nicholas Dean Neal in golf for the past 4 years. But it has been this year that I've gotten to know him a lot better. He is, to put it mildly, a man of few words on the golf course. And despite spending countless hours with him in the van, to and from practice and matches, I heard practically nothing out of him which did not pertain to video games, of which he seemed to have an almost encyclopedic knowledge. What I did see was a competitor who was passionate and who handled both victory and defeat with a rare grace. What really opened my eyes this year was Nick's recitation in poetry out loud. Although naturally reticent, his reticence was truly excellent and he won the competition. And I have a quote from Teddy Roosevelt, who we call TR. And this sums up Nick's competitive nature. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood. We don't really get that call, but who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deed, who knows great enthusiasm, great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. Commander Kelly may have slipped by the embarrassing story that I am going to bring up on Gabriel. Ready? Gabriel is, I'll get that. When Gabriel Mark Swenson first came to middle school, it took me a long time to not think of him as that adorable 6-year-old who often dressed as a vampire. This is almost certainly playing against role, against type. He has an angelic name, Gabriel. He has an angelic countenance. He has an angelic presence. What I've come to appreciate about Gabriel over the past 4 years as his advisor is his quiet competence. He has been a 4-year stalwart on the tennis team. He's helped coach middle school football for the past 4 years and has served as the competent manager of the basketball team for the past 2 years and helped me out while butchering a lot of names while announcing. And yet, one would never know about any of these accomplishments unless one were to ask him directly. Invariably, when I would ask him about anything, I would get a very thoughtful answer with a soupçon of sardonic wit. In short, Gabriel is an admirable man, one who goes about his business quietly and with, as the Greeks would say, arete, true excellence.
I'm A. Clashman, I teach French and I'm the head of the language department. One day in class, Chloe Duran asked if everyone could practice their poem and poetry out loud. There ensued a mini poetry fest, whereupon students expressed their wish to recite poems out loud in French as well, asking for more poetry. What could be more perfect? Chloe often led with enthusiasm and joy in learning. As the recipient of the English Award, Chloe is recognized not only for her superior writing, but for her vision and leadership in producing the finest, most polished version of the Gregorian chant in the school's history. In addition, her photography made the 2015 yearbook a thing of beauty. She is a person with an impressive array of interests who would triple nature if possible. Her curiosity, her work ethic, and her drive will take her far. Bon courage, Yolanda. Conjugating French verbs, earnestly presenting her Navajo identity, or animatedly discussing James Franco. Ashton Nash Yazzie emits a well-rounded view. She cannot be considered a rambunctious student, but rather informative, thoughtful, and masterful in sharing her voice through projects. Her projects have ranged from French cinema to popular music to race and tolerance in post-Charlie Hebdo France. Ashton has learned a lot here, but just as importantly, we have learned from her. Good luck, bonne chance, bonne nuit.
Hi, I'm Dennis Connor, Department of Science. I have taught Eduardo Jose Hurtado in the past year. If anyone has watched him in my class, and probably any of his other classes, conversation will be confusing. The lab experiments look like science, but the conversation is all sports, mostly basketball. Not just local sports, I've heard him recite box scores to the random high school basketball players who may never even step foot at the U of A. There is a special talent here. It's a passion that he has shared with many classmates through his philosophical insights and captain the best team. Lalo has shared his many talents with us in so many ways. I have enjoyed his whimsical projects and would love to see him unleash these on the rest of the world. Congratulations. Thomas Schwartz is the recipient of the Mathematics Award. Brandon started school here 2 years ago, but quickly became one of the go-to resources for help. He has graciously given his time and vast knowledge to improving our campus. Few pursue knowledge with the same drive and intensity that Brandon does. He has distinguished himself in many school mathematics competitions and even served as an elected member of our honor committee. His contributions have been many, his work awe-inspiring, and we all know the future is very bright. Congratulations. Olivia Louise Wan is a dynamic and creative mind. I marvel at her ability to convince others to speak to like movies such as Dumb and Dumber. She has eclectic taste, and she shares that proud devotion with everyone. 4 years ago, I sat on the same table as her while chaperoning the thespian conference. Here, I sit on this table with this energetic person, and I immediately needed to cower from her conversation for my obvious lack of sophistication. Olivia is impressive. Olivia has always done things her own way. She's been awe-inspiring, and I know that she will continue to do so. Congratulations.
Good evening, I'm Christine Seela from the Finance Department, and before I start, I'd like to announce with appreciation to Gabriel Swenson for being the co-recipient of the Visual Art Two-Dimensional Design Award. Sarah Elizabeth Brown, demonstrates determined commitment. From anime to Oxford, from karate to carefully crafted AP art compositions, you have faced everything on your path with persistence and a positive attitude. You are a thinker. I've seen you grow in confidence and complexity. I've watched you design large drawings containing intense details demanding hours of labor, right? Just when you finally thought you were done, you would hear me ask the dreaded question, have you considered this? She knows what I'm talking about. Instead of giving me the easy response of, may I be excused? Or, I like it like that, I'm done. You would say, I'll think about it, and then experimented with another fabulous finishing touch. What all your teachers see, that willingness to go beyond, to take that extra step, even if you absolutely don't have to, is one of the main reasons I can say with confidence, Sarah Elizabeth, your work here is complete. As you continue to photograph and open many marvelous new doors. I would like to introduce Madison, who is the co-recipient of the Visual Art Two-Dimensional Design Award. Of Madison is gift of God or strong fighter. The Urban Dictionary includes the following as definition of Madison: an amazing, beautiful, intelligent, and simply perfect girl. Madisons can do anything they set their mind to. Madisons are perfect in every way. It describes Blair as the state of being strong, creative, and beautiful. Madison Blair Layman, you have lived up to your name in double doses. While it is obvious to the world that you are beautiful, some people might not know at a glance how brilliant, strong, and humorous you really are. You come up with ideas that are fresh and unique. You are willing to fight the good fight. You can make the most quick-witted comment without cracking a smile. Your quiet nature holds a wellspring of creativity, strength, and determination that was outstanding even in middle school. At times I wondered if I even had enough supplies to keep up with you. I am honored to announce that you are the winner of the Visual Art Award. You are a prolific artist whose designs and patterns, as you know, I think should be seen all over the world. So Madison Blair, as you make your astute mark in the medical field, remember to wave your magic pen and transform all those dirty scrubs. Emily is fortunate to have a perfect new people. Holy Mara, Electricity, Sierra Long, Josh Long. I thought this was correct. Josh Wayne. I didn't ask. You are a wise, young, old woman. You understand tarantulas and other things that some people think should be squashed. Holy Mana, beautiful butterfly. Electricity. Powerful, fierce, light energy. You are a spectrum of focused determination. You understand the proverb, you must live your life from beginning to end, no one else can do it for you. You understand the science of art and the art of science. You are a keeper of the land, and have set a goal to unlock the healing secrets of the earth. You are well on your way. You have honored me
as a coach and a confidant on this slice of your journey. I will always remember you and treasure your honesty, sensitivity, and insight. Possibly knew all over hair color coming soon. Ivy League Dartmouth is fortunate to have you join the big ring. You gotta start already.
Hi, I'm Colleen Kelly. I teach chemistry. Gabrielle Diamond Levy's leadership and service skills can be found on campus, in the Tucson community, and around the world. On campus, Gabby has used her leadership skills as a co-editor-in-chief of The Summit, which is our annual yearbook publication. Gabby can be seen around campus taking pictures, organizing interviews for the yearbook, and off campus, Gabby sits on the board of directors at the Tucson Jewish Community Center and has most recently become a founder of JTAG, a Jewish teen council that produces extensive community service events. And if that's not enough, Gabby has traveled throughout the world, including Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. Gabby participated in the Service Learning in Kenya program, where she was a teacher for Kenyan elementary school students. I'm tired just reading this. I'm continually impressed with Gabby's humility, sense of adventure, energy, and vibrant smile. There it is. The road awaits your many talents, Gabby. Best of luck at doing. Robert Jeremy Prudit is a scholar and an elite athlete, and has had the honor of working with RJ both in the classroom and as a coach on the cross-country course. His ability to focus, whether during a tough exam or during an important cross-country meet, is enviable. RJ understands the value of hard work and that there are no shortcuts to success. He sets a goal to establish new records, and this year he did so, breaking the TGS cross-country school record. In fact, RJ has decimated all of his goals, primarily through his ability to endure, accept, and even sometimes embrace suffering. RJ, this quote from the famous and gutsy runners, Lee Fontaine, also known as Cree, reminds me of you. Cree said, quote, "You have to wonder at times what you're doing out there. Over the years, I've given myself 1,000 reasons to keep running, but it always comes back to where it started. It comes down to self-satisfaction and a sense of achievement. Keep running, RJ. I'll serve you well." Paul Grigsby Ray is leaving the Gregory School to attend George Mason University in the fall. As a soon-to-be Virginian, I thought it fitting to express the thoughts of a quintessential Virginian, Thomas Jefferson. Now I know TJ, you hear that before. Thomas Jefferson said, "In matters of style, swim with the current. In matters of principle, stand like a rock." Paul, you'll always feel like a rock in matters of principle. It is a quality of yours that I've admired for the past 3 years. It's a quality that has made you an outstanding Eagle Scout, leader, son, student, friend, performer, and athlete. You are loyal to the core and conduct yourself with respect, good manners, and have a keen self-awareness. Thank you. And also, I will miss your daily, but have a great day, Dr. Kelly. Jacob Emmanuel Sabino is the 2015 winner of the Charles T. Kent Science Award, and he's also the winner of the Performing Arts Award. Jacob has excelled in 8 science courses spanning biology, chemistry, physics, and computer science while at the Gregory School. His senior internship in the area of surgery and his future hope of becoming a neurosurgeon demonstrate Jacob's dedication to science and medicine. In addition, Jacob entertained audience at the Gregory School with his roles as Mitch Mahoney in the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, Hannibal in A Curious Savage, as Abram in Fiddler on the Roof, as Crawford in 39 Steps, and Constable in Les Miserables. Jacob, I will miss your cheerfulness around campus. Thank you.
My name is Robert Mossman. I teach English, religion, and journalism. Teenagers often vacillate when it comes to issues of honesty and maturity. Not so with the graduate known to most of us as Izzy. Isabella, Forsman Small, is never afraid to speak her mind, her version of the truth, no matter what others, including peers or teachers, may think. She has equally displayed maturity this year and worked both on and off campus, especially with animals, both large and small, which she loves so passionately. And I learned yesterday, showing my lack of ignorance of equine knowledge, that horses can actually have acupuncture. Who knew? Both of these qualities, honesty and maturity, while often in short supply in the real world, will accompany her as she meets the challenges of that great, vast world out there. Congratulations. I have taught Esteban Rigoberto Quintana for 3 years, 2 in English and 1 in religion. This should give one some familiarity. Yet in some ways, Esteban is still a mystery to me. He's quiet, yet strong, determined, yet funny. In many ways, he is a quiet hero, doing what is necessary without asking for assistance or seeking recognition. His time here has been productive both for him and for us, and I am sure that he will continue this quest for satisfaction and happiness in endeavors to come. Congratulations.
I'm Linda Mount, and I teach in the history department. This kind of person, Zhao Mei Li, boarded a plane somewhere near her hometown, forgive me, of Zhuhai, Guangdong, China, when she was even tinier, only 15 years old, and traveled alone halfway around the world through Chicago to Rhode Island to begin her first American adventure. Happily for us, she came to Tucson for her junior and senior years and promptly began to cultivate close relationships not only with her teachers, and I was a lucky one, but with her American students who spoke no Chinese. She and I spent many treasured hours together, pouring over college essays, debating the pros and cons of attending college in the East or West, examining different majors, and exchanging views on life. Sheldon places enormous demands on herself. Last August, she came to me displeased with her senior coursework. It appeared too light, she said. AP Micro and Macroeconomics, AP English, AP Calculus BC, AP Art, and Science simply appeared to be a slackler's pursuits. She wanted to take AP European history as well. I asked, "Do you like history?" She said, "Not particularly, but I will take it anyway." Just like Johnny. And she did, and she excelled. Additionally, she won the Visual Arts Award from the Gregory School Art Department and the Best Photography Award on this year's High School Art Invitational sponsored by the Pima County Library. Pronunciation. Jay Chang Song, who allows us to call him Jay, introduced himself to me long before he was my student, and we became fast friends. Smart as a whip, Jay also possesses a rare gift of humor. A glimpse of him in the spring musical, Spelling Bee, revealed the stage presence of monumental hilarity as he danced and twisted his way across the stage, seemingly unaware of the peals of laughter his actions produced. And in AP history class, Jay fearlessly expressed himself from a unique perspective that broadened awareness of the world for every class member, myself included. Solitary at times, Jay made real and true friends here, and the badminton club he began generated quite a following. Most of all, Jay is unique, an old soul with a childlike enthusiasm for new ideas, people and places, and above all, an eagerness to meet tomorrow. Best of luck in Seattle. I'll see you there. Congratulations.
Good evening, buenas noches. My name is Lidia Noriega and I teach Spanish. 4 years ago, I started teaching at the now Gregory School, and I was very nervous because I was taking the position of a very well-regarded teacher. My first teaching out was with Noah's class, where I met a young, shy man hiding behind his desk. He and his classmates kindly welcomed me, and I felt right in place. To say that I had witnessed Noah's personal growth is an understatement. He went from being this introverted boy to becoming a very active member of the Gregory School community. Noah has participated in different clubs such as Diversity Club, International Club, and the Leadership Club. In the summer of 2014, Noah had the opportunity to teach students from grades 4 to 8 in subjects such as Christian religious studies, English, math, science, and social studies in Kenya. Just this past April, Noah was introduced to the Spanish Honor Society. And this evening is with great honor that I introduce Noah Rafael Sanders as a member of the Gregory School graduation class of 2015.
Biology teacher, and this is Yang Lu. We have a saying that I think describes you perfectly, Yang. The saying is, still waters run deep. It means that beneath your calm, quiet exterior hides a deeply passionate soul. You have on a few occasions blessed me with glimpses of that passion. I recall a conversation we had a few months ago in which you said that you might like to someday go back to China and help teachers there to find more effective ways to teach biology. But no matter what you ultimately choose to do with your life, make certain that you tap into your passion and never be afraid to think big. Heather Marie McQuarrie is a co-recipient of the Performing Arts Award. And she has been a key player on the Gregory School's golf team. These are certainly achievements worth celebrating. However, I wish to celebrate another achievement, one that slowly unfolded in classrooms over the past 4 years. It was the gradual metamorphosis of the shy, insecure ninth grader into the bold young woman standing before us today, one who was about to head across country for college. It was our pleasure to see you take on challenges and incrementally gain confidence from your successes. Now, I'm sure that you're ready for the Big Apple, but the question is, are they ready for you?
Good evening, I'm Shannon Smith from the Fine Arts Department. I'll never forget the first photograph Sky August B. Jones presented in our photography class that both visually and emotionally stopped me dead in my tracks. It was of a tree located in what seemed to be a quiet, remote spot in the woods, but most likely the desert in this case. Visually, all the photographic elements were there within the image to capture the viewer's eye. Perfect composition, excellent tonality, diffused lighting with just an inkling of what seemed to be the morning light rising up just above the horizon, so perfectly illuminating the main subject of the image. In the left-hand corner, one can make out the subtle image of two ladders wrapped in the halo effect of light, welcoming the viewer to climb to the top of the tree if they so desired. Each element of this photograph was sheer perfection, and as a photography teacher, you cringe with excitement when your students get all of this right in their first few assignments. But this photograph was so much more than that. The sense of childhood memories and playtime merriment seeped heavily from this seemingly simple image, when in actuality it was anything but simple. This tree, Sky explained in her critique, was in her backyard, and I immediately referenced The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. I didn't tell her at the time, but to me, this tree signified everything I had begun to learn about Sky. And looking back on it now, and our time we've worked together since then, I have no doubt in regards to my initial thoughts. Sky may not be fully aware of the immense artistic talent she possesses, but from one artist to another, I've seen it all along, right there, scratching the surface. And the wonderful thing about being a teacher was watching this transformation, this artistic metamorphosis. I feel like this tree is watching over Sky, yet being the thoughtful soul she is, she'll have more than a stump to come back to when she chooses to return from all of her life's adventures. She'll have the tree she so eloquently captured in this photograph that she unselfishly kept in her life, unlike the boy who used his for his personal gain. And that, to me, is the sheer magnitude of Sky and her artistic abilities. There is something to be said for finding what you love to do most in your life, for finding your passion and running full force into the world at large. In photography, one can say so much in a simple image. That's the magic of it, the power, the beauty of it. There are so many who strive to capture this in their images, using fancy equipment, filters, Photoshop manipulation. But when you capture it with everything in your heart, using the simplest of bare-bone elements, your camera and your vision, well, that to me is when you know this art form is in your blood. The saying goes that the sky's the limit, but I don't think that's the case for Sky August B. Jones. I know in my heart she will go well beyond that, but will always find her way back home where she is rooted in love.
Good evening, my name is Matt Teller. I teach in the Department of Languages. As a sophomore, Andrew Jacob Tinley enrolled in Spanish 4, and while the quality of Andrew's work was high, it was not material that necessarily came easily to him. Nevertheless, as a junior, he enrolled in AP Spanish Language and Culture. Again, he did quite well in the course, but only through an effort that was nothing short of tenacious. By the time he chose a topic for his junior critical paper last year, I was not surprised he had chosen to include a focus on several works of the Spanish author and philosopher Miguel de Unamuno, in spite of the complexity and depth of Unamuno's work and what would be required to include it in the JCP. Nor was I surprised to learn recently that Andrew would be one of the co-recipients of this year's Performance Art Award. Andrew's willingness to embrace hard work, both in the classroom and on the stage, will serve him well as he moves on to the University of Arizona. It is my pleasure to present this evening Andrew Jacob Tinley, member of the Gregory School graduating class of 2015. Years ago, Andrew John Zlackett walked into my advisory group and introduced himself simply as Z. At first, I wasn't quite sure what to do with such a succinct introduction, but finding his full name on my list, I assumed, as any Spanish teacher would, that it was his trademark. Perhaps even similar to that of 20th century pulp writer Jonathan McCulley's character, El Zorro. I admit, I do find Andrew's nickname charming, and I think it suits him well. But behind the nickname, I've also come to know a young man overflowing with kindness, empathy, loyalty, and compassion for his peers, and especially for his younger sister, Caroline. And while I know that Andrew will have much academic success at the University of Arizona, it is these qualities so abundant in him that the world needs now more than ever. And it is why Andrew John Zlackett will do truly important work beyond the Gregory School. It is with great respect that I present this evening Z as a member of the Gregory School graduating class of 2015.
Good evening, I am Daniel Young. I'm a member of the history department. I don't know what that means. But thank you. Davis Berg will be attending Texas Christian University this fall. I have no doubt that TCU learned a great deal about Davis during the admission and application process. Of course, there is applicant Davis, a multiple varsity letter winner in different sports, a curious and confident student in the classroom, a personable and collegial man of our campus. However, personalities such as Davis's cannot be fully known or appreciated in such a limited construct as a college application. Does TCU know that Davis is the first and very likely only student to earn an A+ in study hall? And that he very proudly took a photograph of that grade posted on the family refrigerator. Does TCU know that this future horned frog has spent the past 2 years acting as my unofficial, unpaid, and frequently unheeded financial advisor? That he continues to offer unsolicited stock and portfolio advice to ensure a comfortable income for Mrs. Young and me and our government? And does Texas Christian know that they are welcoming a renowned life coach and internet-ordained minister? Someone who has spent the last 5 years advising, guiding, and caring for the well-being of his flock, be they student, athlete, or teacher. Texas Christian may not fully realize that they are welcoming this August, but there are plenty of people on this campus who recognize exactly what we're losing. After pondering everything I've gotten to know about Sebastian William Meade, I'm left with two possible explanations for him. He's the modern iteration of a Renaissance man, complete with familial connections to northern Italy. Or he belongs to a family of international spies. I've yet to decide which one is true, but in the spirit of celebrating his known achievements today, instead of his family's potential espionage, I'm going to talk about Sebastian, the Renaissance man. As you would expect of any self-respecting and well-rounded young man, Sebastian has lived in, experienced, and embraced diverse cultures in the United States and around the world. He's a polyglot, conversant in Spanish, Italian, and English that we know of. There may be others that he has yet to reveal. He is at ease moving among topics ranging from bio-mining engineering to sonnet structure to double exposure photography, the latter garnering him awards from both the Center for Creative Photography and Arizona Highways High School Nature Photography Competition. Last I heard, Sebastian's future plans involve an extended time in Barcelona, studying computers. Beyond that, he has also spoken a time in Switzerland and Russia. This polymath is indeed a great thinker and a kind young man, and we have been lucky to have you spy on us for the past 2 years.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Young and I teach English. Montserrat Serena Busso joined us her senior year and wasted no time making an impression in and out of the classroom. In addition to winning her class's Poetry Out Loud competition, she also wrote my favorite poem of the year, one that speaks of her love for the wild and her appetite for adventure. I'm going to celebrate you tonight, Monty, by sharing part of that poem titled, Where a Car Wants to Go. The old car half sunk in the forest floor was a wonderland for strange mosses, bugs, and creatures that dwell on forest floors. The old car looked like it belonged there. Its hollow frame created a perfect playground for vines to crawl through, and somehow the fallen front bumper gave the car a goofy sort of grin. The car's flesh had already dissolved. All that was left were the bones. It was not a sad scene. The car was by far the happiest car I've ever seen. It was not being dragged into the earth. The car was reclining into the earth, almost as if it were sinking year by year back home. Best of luck next year, Monty, as you travel the world and work the earth. Evolutionary, that's the word Dr. Gregory used when describing Heather Elizabeth Saunders over the course of her high school career. You have transformed from a passenger simply along for the ride to a scholar in charge of and enthusiastic about her own learning. That kind of growth is breathtaking. At some point in the past 4 years, you wedded your curiosity to your poetic impulse, resulting in a confident, unfazed young woman. In Annie Dillard's memoir, An American Childhood, she writes, I slid into myself perfectly fitted, as a diver meets her reflection in a pool. Her fingertips enter the fingertips on the water, her wrists slide up her arms. The diver wraps herself in the reflection wholly, and wears it as she climbs rising from the pool and ever after. You, Eliza, have slid into yourself perfectly fitted, and you're ready for this next adventure at Simon Fraser. Congratulations. The Gregory School English Department dedicates every January to the reading, memorizing, and reciting of poetry. This past year, we had the privilege of having a visiting poet on campus who, among many things, reviewed student work. He said that the pieces written by Ari Nicole Silvers were the work of a writer definitely on her way. Ari's creative writing is transporting and memorable. In fact, she won this year's unofficial competition for writing the best metaphor. Here it is, quote, my grandparents' house was like an old sweater that was sentimental but didn't fit quite right anymore. Before we purchased our house, my mom, my sister, and I squeezed into that sweater. Your writing and your life have reflected how important family is to you, and I hope you'll look back at your days on this small campus with the same nostalgic sweater sentiment. Best of luck next year. The Gregory School is a place where quiet students can be heard among the cacophony of their loud peers because we value written expression as much as verbal. Jonathan Randall Watson has been a quiet student in the classroom, listening intently to class discussions, shaping his thoughts before speaking them. He's also been an orator on paper, challenging trite conclusions by posing contrary opinions. One of the best indications of a mind at work are the questions that mind produces. And Jonathan has probably asked more questions than he's offered answers, stimulating critical thinking and the illumination of ideas in the classroom. You have a beautiful mind. Good luck next year at the U of A.
At this time, our two senior class representatives, Ari Silvers and Andrew Tinley, will present the class of 2015.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.